today is going to be a bold discussion. Listen, I normally just like jump right into my monologue, but I actually need to have a talk with my special guest today. Guys, those of you who are in the chat, those of you that are watching, you guys know this brother. He's from the Lapeef Network. He has his own new YouTube channel, Mr. Chaotic Truth. I actually just have a couple quick questions real quick before we get started. Chaotic, my man, how you doing?
I'm awesome, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, man. Listen, look, I was just sitting here while we were going through the intro, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, I was thinking about one day on your stream, you had a stream on the Lapeef Network, and you had a brother that came up on the stream, and he talked about how Pearl earned her black card, So,
Okay.
and I'm sitting there trying to figure out, because I am black, and I'm trying to figure out where's this card at. Maybe mine got lost in the mail at birth. I don't know. But is there a way for us to get our black card revoked?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Because I hear all the time people talking about I'm revoking black cards and stuff like that. And I'm thinking tonight is probably one of my provocative discussions. And I was kind of sitting here worried, am I going to have my black card revoked? It never showed up at birth. And maybe my mama still got it.
No.
And she never gave it to me. But I was just kind of wondering.
No, your black card won't be revoked, man.
Won't be revoked. Okay.
No, not at all.
I just wanted to double check. And let me say real quick, man, let me tell you something about these YouTube content creators, man. They are absolutely great with the support, and I actually got some support right off the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and acknowledge that right away.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
My man Theo with the Do Better podcast with the $5 super sticker. Thank you, Theo. I appreciate you for showing up and showing some support. Listen, I in my real life, Chaotic, I work overnight. So I'm like, when I get off at 7:00 in the morning, and I come home, go straight to bed. I can't do that no more because of the Do Better podcast. The brother streams early in the morning, and he be on one. So I really appreciate the Do Better podcast and what he's doing and helping me with my deprivation of sleep that I go through sometimes.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, bro, with the stream that you be doing. All right, we got another one. And Mr. Terrell Key. Terrell Key is who I affectionately call him the principal of YouTube, the YouTube principal. Mr. Terrell Key, he has his own YouTube channel over there. What's it called? The Terrell Key podcast. His channel is by his name, Terrell Key, and Terrell is actually a high school principal, Chaotic, and he be over there lighting it up over there on his channel. So you brothers, I appreciate you. I thank you. And my Sexy is Strong went ahead and dropped Theo's channel in the chat. If you can drop Terrell's, that'll be good too. So okay, so I'm safe. I didn't got to worry about my black card being revoked or none of that. I can just go ahead and get into what we're gonna get into today. And I can feel a bit of confidence about not getting my black card revoked. Oh, you're muted, Chaotic.
Yeah, I said you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and get this going. I'll be right back with you, Kat. Thanks a lot for joining us. All right, y'all. Listen. Today is gonna be interesting. I'm just sitting there like, how do I say this? How do I say this? How do I say this? I guess I'm just going to have to go ahead and say it. Do black men, do we really want to be white men? Good old white men. Do we want to be white men? Now, listen, for those of you who just had a visceral reaction to that, and your first answer was like, oh, no. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Before you have a negative response to that, hold on a second. I believe there's a case to be made that black men in this country wish they can be a good old white man. I mean, come on now. Who wouldn't want a little good old white privilege? I mean, who wouldn't want good old white privilege? White privilege is like peach cobbler, you know, nice and sweet and warm and gooey and comforting. White privilege is it's the same as peach cobbler. Who in their right mind wouldn't want a little bit of that? Before we get there, I want to talk to the ladies just for a second, because most of this is going to be directed at the men. But I want to ask you ladies for a second, especially for those of you ladies in the chat watching, ninja watching, or going to watch back later, especially for you those ladies who kind of circle these YouTube streets a little bit. I know you've heard a time or two on these channels, on these streams, on these clips. I know you've heard a time or two what men really want from you. You ladies can rattle it off faster and better than most of us men, but across all cultures, men state, especially black men, we state we want a friendly, beautiful, inspirational woman that is fit, feminine, and agreeable. The men have also stated that we'll trade the looks for some agreeability and for some respect, which I find a little bit funny because most of us fellas are not necessarily blessed with the handsomeness that we need to be. So I kind of think it's funny that we'll downgrade on looks on our women because, you know, but you ladies have heard that from my men. But what do most men across all cultures and society want? What do we really, really want? Let me tell you, most men want power. Most men want money, influence. Most men want recognition. Most men want respect. We want respect, and we want you to simply acknowledge me as your tribal chief. Just flat out come out and what? Acknowledge me. That's right. We just want you ladies to go out and acknowledge me. And we're serious about that. And what we wanted, and what we want with all of that power and money and influence and status and respect, what we want from all of that is to trade that in for the highest quality woman and the best life that those things can bring us. Now, what are a few things that black men want that white men have? White men are respected in their homes. Black men have been exiled from their homes. White men are generally left a legacy to get a head start in the world. Black men are left to build it out of the mud. White men are given the benefit of the doubt. Black men have to prove the doubt. White men have a presumption of competence. Black men have a presumption of incompetence. Now, talking anything America is really hard to do without talking about, race. In America, race is always a thing. Talking about race, brother, chaotic. Talking about race, sometimes it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting because so many bad faith conversations happen around the subject of race. Look at over the last month that happened out here on YouTube and the explosion that happened with that YouTube channel, Just Pearly Things. Man, that conversation, those bad faith conversations that were happening around there caused a civil war amongst black men on YouTube. Now, it wasn't like a real civil war. It's just a bunch of brothers out there turning on their cameras, talking about pull up on me, you pull up on me, you pull up on me, whatever, But talk about what a man seeks in his life, especially a black man and white men. It's a little hard to do without talking about race, because while there's not much difference in what white men want and what black men want, but there is a very stark difference in the outcomes of the two different groups of men. You know, and I'm not speaking on an individual level. I'm talking about a collective level. On a collective level. In the United States, the largest group of men who have power, money, influence, status, respect are the descendants of Europeans. That's right, the good old white man. So what is the inverse of that? Who in the United States have the least amount of power, least amount of money, influence, status, and respect? I know some of you are thinking black men. That's not true. Hispanic men, but not by a lot. Black men are just a tick above Hispanic men. Now, seeing as I am not Hispanic, I really can't speak on their issues and their experiences because I'm not that. But however, I do fluently speak black men. I speak black men quite fluently. So, do black men secretly want to be white men? I mean, look, I'm just saying, every time you look up, black men are looking for acceptance and validation from white males in white male dominated spaces. Just look at this YouTube thing. There's this space on YouTube, and it was referred to as the manosphere, where white men got together and talked about their issues and experiences that they were having with their women. Black men attempted to join in this space, but it became quite obvious very quickly that the issues black men had with their women were very different from the issues that the white boys were having with their women. So the black men, what they did, they created a subset called the black manosphere. So do black men secretly want to be with white men? Do black men secretly want to be white men? A large portion of black men have even aligned themselves with the conservative movement, which is, and I'm going to do a whole string on that, have aligned themselves with the conservative movement. The last presidential election, 13% of black men voted for Donald Trump. 13%. That seems like a small number. I was like, okay, what's 13%? Historically, black men from about 1960 on have only voted Republican or conservative at a 4% clip. So what's going on? Is that the smoking gun to prove that maybe black men really want to be white men? I don't know. I think I got a more simplistic view of this. Okay. And here's what I'm thinking. I think black men want what white men have. And I'm not entirely talking about the white man's woman. I'm of the belief that black men think that if they align themselves with white men, like if black men start to think, behave, and move like white men, then eventually they'll have what the white men have, which again is what? Power, money, influence, status, and respect. Here's my declarative statement on that right now. Black men, and I think, Kaddick, this is probably where I'm going to lose my black card. I get. Black men are dominated by everyone. There is nothing in this country that black men dominate. Not even their homes, not even their families. Black men are dominated by their own women. Now, when I made the statement that black men don't dominate anything, I know a few of y'all said, well, what about the NFL? Well, what about the NBA? Yeah, let's talk about that for a half a second. So What happened when Colin Kaepernick got on the wrong side of white men? What happened? What happened? If black men dominates the NFL, what happened? What happened? What did his fellow black NFL players do? Right. They sat right there and watched him get excommunicated from the NFL. We can bring it more recently. What happened with Kyrie Irving when he got on the wrong side of white men? What happened? What happened? That's right. That's right. He was forced to publicly apologize for doing something that he never did.